All right, so here's another installment in making the abandoned mansion. Uh, what we're going to do today is we're going to make the big spire, which is this guy over here. So I'm presuming that you have already done these guys because you need the molding in order to make these guys. So let's get started. If we look at our, let's look at our references here. So here's our reference, and this is the spire that we're going to make. So you can see that it has this nice little notch cut out of it. It has some little, some just easy extrusions up here, and this is octagonal. And then it goes into a square. We can see the molding goes around it, no teeth. And then it has this little indentions over there in the front. So this is quite simple, using very simple techniques. Again, we're going to do the molding only with moving and snapping. We'll do something a little different with this guy over here to get the molding to go around octagonally. All right, so let's go right into it. So you may be surprised to know that with this, we're going to start with a cylinder. Oh my gosh, not a square. And then we change the cylinder axes to 8. But you'll also notice that it's the wrong face is facing out. So we don't want this face to face out here. What we want to do is we want to move it exactly to have the correct orientation. So if we move it 90 degrees, it's going to look just the same. If we move it 45 degrees, it's just going to look the same. But if we move half of 45, which is 22.5, then we're going to get it looking exactly where we want. And I'm going to move it up, forward, and I want the molding, this dental up here to be kind of right in the middle of this so it sits nicely. And then I'm going to scale it in a little bit. And we're going to scale it to this size. Let's see what we have here. So we have, it's pretty big. It's about the width of the windows, I'd say. And we can always change it if we don't like the size. We want to make it different. Just don't make it too skinny. And of course, don't make it too fat. So kind of make it kind of about the same size. And if we look at the scaling, we can see that we see this distance here and this distance here, and then we can measure this distance over here. It's about a little less than this size, probably from here to over here. So we'll want to move it up so that it's about almost in the right spot. Still a little too high because I can see from these guys. Um, yeah, a little bit like that. That looks good. So we want to make the top spire. Let's make it a little shorter. You can see it's a little shorter up there. And then we just start extruding these guys. Oops. So here we'll just Control E and then R, the scale, move up, Control E. We could use these guys if you wanted. It's your party. You can cry if you want to. Remember, we can also hold down Control, and then we can extrude again. It's good to get into the habit of using these. And then extrude again. All right. Now we go down here. Let's make sure we have these deselected. Control E. Control E. I'm holding down Control while doing this. Control E. Control E. Oop, we don't want to offset. Control E. Oop, Control E. Control E. Control E. All right. So that was just a bunch of extrusions. And here, if you don't like how big it is, if you think some of this is too chunky, you can change it around. This top piece, I think, is a little too chunky. So I'm just going to grab onto that and move it down. And I think that whole top piece could be a little bit chunky. So let's make sure we have the right one selected. And then I can change that. So I'm not going to move it here because that's going to change the all the axes at once. I want to move just one section. Move it down a little. Cool. Okay, so we have this guy set. What we also want to do is make sure that this is flush with the wall. So to do that, we're going to move our center point down to one of these side verts. And with that done, then I just hold down V and I snap it to one of these guys. Now we have it nicely snapped up there. That looks actually quite lovely. So you'll also notice that we have this transition piece here. So to do this, quite simple. Let's just click on these guys, select the bottom ones, extrude it down so that this is about square. And then grab this one, hold down V, snap it forward, click on this one, snap this vert to that vert. So that's all we're going to do all the way around. Click on this, snap there, click on this, snap to that. Awesome. The only thing we have to do now is make sure that we merge our verts, tolerance of 0.005, delete our history. Let's use our transforms while we're at it, just for the hell of it. Okay. So let's look at our mansion reference. So this does go up a little bit. So we're just gonna, and it goes to about the middle. Does it go to the middle? No, it goes to like right in this window section. So go to the verts, move it up, put right over there. Awesome. Now let's grab this dentil here, duplicate it, bring it out, separate it so that we get all the individual pieces. Go in here, remove all its teeth, just like Hermie did in the Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Center the pivot, rotate it counterclockwise 90 degrees. All right, so here we want to get rid of the inside face and the caps. And then let's snap the center point to one edge there, the top left, and I'm going to snap it right to this vert. Now this isn't exactly where we want it to be because we want to make sure that it goes in a little bit because we want it to be about this distance, maybe a little less. So I move that in a little less, probably around there. And grab these faces, extrude it on down, and let's select this dental. Looks pretty good. Maybe we'll move it in just a little. All right, cool. So now we want to snap these guys together. So we're going to bring, again, these guys up. And we're going to snap it. I'm holding V and this top axis, and I'm going to snap it to that one. Now we want to select our dental. And we're going to snap our edges to this edge here because we want to make sure that they're all nice and aligned up. Perfect. Select these bottom faces now, and we'll delete it. Select our dental. Make sure that we have our center point right on that edge so that we can rotate it nicely. And we'll duplicate it, snap it over here. So we have a lot of extra space back here. Just going to select these verts and snap them over here. And select this one, rotate it 90 degrees. Duplicate it, snap it back here. Rotate it 90 degrees. Now we're going to do our magic. Let's make sure that these guys are all nicely connected there, which it is, because they're all the same. It's an equilateral. Square. So we go into our vert tool, and let's go on down here. I'm going to start with the easier one down here and grab onto this axis. So think of what direction it's going because we want it to go out over here. So I grab onto this axis, aim it there. Grab onto this one, aim it there. This one, aim it there. This one, aim it there. This one, there. This one, aim it there. Cool. And grab this one, snap it to that. Snap. The same thing over here. These guys. There is another way of doing this, by the way, but I think this really helps doing it in this fashion, at least for now. All right, that's all good. We'll select these guys. We'll combine them. We'll merge the verts. Delete the history. Go to the underside. Select these edges. And extrude it on down. This one, we're going to snap to the top of this dental. Let's make sure it's snapped. Yeah. Select that piece, duplicate it, bring it out, remove all the faces and leave the molding. Snap our pivot point to the corner, make sure we have the right one. We didn't. Go over there. Snap to this corner. Rotate it counterclockwise. By now this should be super old hat. Super easy. May not go as fast as I am. That's all right. Duplicate, snap over there. Clockwise 90 degrees. Snap over there. Clockwise 90 degrees. So you notice I always move it a little bit to figure out what angle we want. So I don't waste time just being like, is it positive 90? Negative 90? And then grab this one, aim there, this one, aim there, aim to that one, aim to that one, aim to that, aim to that, and to that. Suppose you don't need the sound effects. Something went wrong there. There we go. Here you fix your problems before you move on, because you don't want to have to undo a lot of steps. The other day in class I had, it was confusing me a bunch because I had this one of these guys here was somehow got a little uneven. And so everything I kept doing upon it was slightly off, which was disconcerting, especially if you're doing architecture. All right, so we have that going. Select these guys, this one, and then we combine, merge our verts, delete our history, go down underneath, select our edges, straight on down, snap it to the bottom, and we have our tower. So the thing we need to do here is make the little these little guys here. So also it's going to be way up high. So unless the character is looking up, I'm not really going to see it too much. But we still want to make it because it looks nice. Make sure you save it. We're going to make another cylinder, and we're going to make it be octagonal. And wherever it created it right there, I'm just going to hold down V, snap it right to that top point there. So we get it nicely snapped. Scale it in so it goes inside. Remember to do 22.5. Bring it in about like that. Right. So now we create a cube. Bring it up, snap it right to that middle. Make sure you do that. Then we make it skinny. As skinny as we want our little turret windows to look. They're pretty skinny. Scale them out. Scale it down. That's about right. Okay. Now we duplicate it. We rotate it 90 degrees. Boolean these two guys together. Boolean union. If you have 2023, remember to delete your history afterward. That way you'll get rid of that temporary shape. Control D to duplicate it again, and we're going to rotate it minus 45. So minus 45. Now we have a little asterisk kind of shape. Select both of those guys and Boolean together. Union. Let's delete the history for that so that we're not dealing with any extra Booleans. Let's make sure that this thing goes down further. We don't want it to go, we want it to go down further than our little windows. And then we start with by selecting our column, because when you're doing a subtraction, then your first one is select your difference. Your first one's your object that's getting cut is selected first. And then we shift click on the little asterisk, mesh, booleans, difference. Now we have it nicely cut. Classification edge, difference. And then we keep that one selected, shift click on our cylinder, and we do another one. And now we have it cut in there. All right, let's delete our history because of those booleans. Let's make these little guys over here. So quite simple. All we have to do is go into our multicut, hold down Control and Shift, and let's see if we can just do one. Okay, that's interesting. So it wants to cut all the way down there, which is not what we want. So let's not do Control. Let's just do Shift. So that'll do one. So we click right in the middle with Shift held down. Make sure we're clicking on that top edge and click. So now we have 50% on one side and 50 on the other. Let's do Shift again. Click up there. And there. Enter. 50% here. And over there and enter. And now we're going to hold down Control. And we'll do it about here so that we have about, these guys are square up there. And do it so these guys are square, just like so. Okay. Now comes the little fun part. We select this edge, and we bevel it. I'm going to put that to 4.4. But you'll notice that the bevel goes outside instead of inside like these. So we just have to go in and select. Oh, I forgot. We need to give a little cut here. And Shift will cut that. Shift cut there and to there. So we're doing these multi-cuts. All right, so now we have the proper shape. Looks like so. Click on this vert, this vert, this vert, and this vert. And then we're just going to move it down. Looks a little something like that. Let's select these top ones and snap them to the other just to make sure everything is nicely lined up. And these guys, move them up. Select this, this. Then we go in and grab this one and this one, those edges, and we just bring it in. Nice detail. But you'll also notice that there's no hard lines because it's trying to still make it smooth. So to fix that, I don't know if we double click on this, what we'll get. Ah, good. Okay, so we got that. I double clicked on these little frames, and I'm going to also click this one, and this long one. This one, and the long one. And this one, and this one, and this one, and this one. These are the ones that we want to make hard. So we go to Mesh Display. So you can see it. Mesh Display, there we go. And then Harden Edge. And now, I see hard. Lovely detail. And there's our big spire. In the next one, we're going to We're gonna make the smaller one, which we'll do in class today. So this is also octagonal, and we'll have a different way of doing the molding. Should be pretty simple. And then following that, we're going to do this front piece, which has a lot of stuff involved in it. So that hopefully we can do that in one whole week. All right, thank you very much for watching, and see you in the next video.